All right, what's good, YouTube world? Should I say YouTube? Yeah, it's kind of my unofficial intro music track. That music you just heard was composed by yours truly, but I'm playing around with it. I think it makes for a kind of spooky, there's something going on, X-Files type of feel. And that's exactly what's going on in the world every single day. And I had to make a video about this, and I can't take credit for the discovery of it, but I wanted to make a video on my decode of her death. But shout out to my homie Marvin at Truth Click Media. I started watching his video and his live stream from earlier today, and it got me pumped up. So I want to make a video about this real fast, and who knows, me and this homie might do a live stream later. But yeah, this was brought to my attention by Truth Click Media, and he's been discovering a lot of murder by numbers, or what we would suspect as murder by numbers. If you're familiar with this kind of work, which is known as Gematria, the religion of encoding numbers into words. I stumbled over my words there because it's usually described as the practice of encoding numbers into words, but it is very much a religion. And I don't know. I can't say for certain that Heather O'Rourke was murdered in a ritualistic fashion. She certainly could have been poisoned given the circumstances. But I'm just here to document the patterns that I observed. And she died at the young age of 12 on the 1st of February in 1988. The same year we saw Basquiat overdose from heroin at the age of 27. And I know there's an organic side to the Matrix, but I just found it interesting that it was 193 days from her death to Basquiat's passing. And I'm not saying it's not connected, it's just interesting. Just interesting because her birthday, she's born on the 27th of December. He died at the age of 27 by this 27 ritual code that so many unfortunate souls have fallen victim to. But, just pointing out, 1988, it was a spooky year. But I thought it was interesting that, she's born in the year 1975. And her name, isn't her full name, but her full name's Heather Michelle O'Rourke. But Heather O'Rourke alone has value of 75, like the year that she's born. And she died at the age of 12. And when you write out 12 as a word, it also has matching value of 75 in the reverse English gematria. When you flip it around and you make A 26 and you make Z number 1. So I thought that was interesting. What else is interesting, and I didn't really want to put in the blog because I don't want to make it seem like I'm cherry picking, but it is interesting that her name, Heather Michelle, alone also has value of 75, as well as 69, a number documented a lot by myself and as well as through others in number rituals like this possible one that we have here. But in the movie Poltergeist, oh, and in case I should have led off with the fact that she was one of the main stars in the film series Poltergeist, which was originally directed by Steven Spielberg. And her name in the movie is Carol Ann. So I thought, I mean, maybe it could be a coincidence, but some people often go by their first and middle name, and Heather Michelle doesn't sound too weird of a, it's her two first names. So I thought, what are the odds? And what I document a lot on this channel is ritualistic murders that seem Saturnian in nature. And in other words, they're sacrifices offered up to the evil deity Saturn. And so I thought, okay, that's interesting because Saturn equals 69. But she's dead on this date that you could write 2/1 or 1/2, depending on which part of the world you're in. And, just like how she's dead at the age of 12. But if this is a Saturn ritual, then that would be very fitting because Saturn equals 21. And what we refer to in the Gematria community as the most pure cipher, which is the cipher with the alphabetic order, but with the rules in numerology. So you see how her full name, Heather Michelle O'Rourke, equals 110. And her date of death has numerology of 110. That's when you add 2 plus 1 plus 19 plus 88. But what else I found interesting was the fact that if you reduce everything down from a single digit and you add 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8, you get a total of 29. And I thought that was interesting because I reported and researched a lot on the suspicious suicide of Senator John Porter East, who's been largely forgotten about by history. And he was said to have committed suicide at the age of 55 days after his 55th birthday on the 29th of June. And, when you spell out 29th, it equals 55, and I documented all over the show how often 55 was repeated connecting to his death. And you see how 29th also equals 125. And like I've been talking a lot about, a number that's gone unnoticed within the Gematria Decode community, this number 125. It's because Saturnian sacrifice equals 125. And remember, in case you've forgotten, Brian Jones, the original founding members of the Rolling Stones, was found dead at the bottom of a swimming pool 125 days after his 27th birthday. And that's because when you spell out 27 as a word, it equals 125. But my point, I'm sorry, not 25, but, let me spell it right. You see, 27, 125. And I've been documenting this number quite often in ritualistic murders like John Porter East. But I want you to see how he's born. Not only that, but his birthday is May 5th. Right? I need to put out another video on John Porter East, but so he's born May 5th, 1931, and that's the 125th day of the year, you see. And we just saw, I'll show you, I've been documenting this number a lot, and people haven't really caught on. And not surprising, because once you get stuck doing things a certain way, it's hard to change it. But we saw the death of Drakeo the ruler last year, who was said to have been stabbed in the neck. And I said, look, he's born on a date with 125 numerology, and he's born in 93, just like Saturn. But Drakeo the ruler was born on December 1st, 1993. And I want you to see how he has birth numerology of 125. For example, another 125 connection was the fact that Mac Miller died on a date with 27 numerology if you were to reduce everything down from a single digit. So he died on 9/7 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8 equals 27. So he died on a date with 27 numerology, and he died in Studio City. Studio City equals 125. You see how simple it is once you uncover the repetitive pattern, but it's gone largely unnoticed by most Gematria decoders. No disrespect, but I don't even think Zach, the person who popularized this kind of work, sorry, my mouth is starting to get dry. I don't even think he's picked up on it. But like I said, Drakeo the ruler, if you don't know about this number, then it's going to go under the radar. But he's got this birth numerology of 125. Saturnian sacrifice equals 125, which basically just means Saturnian, in case you're not familiar with that term, means Saturn, pertaining to Saturn. So it's a Saturn sacrifice. And, like I said, 27 spelled out as a word equals 125. And Drakeo, in the most pure cipher, equals 27. You see? Drakeo 27. Caldwell, his surname equals 27 in the most pure as well. And then you see that number is special because ritual has value of 27 in the most pure. So learn this 125 code. You'll be able to see through the other deeper layers behind a murder ritual. And man, I am really compiling the 125, and pretty soon I need to make a video. Well, this video is turning out to be completely dedicated to the number 125, but I will soon. And for one more 25, Mozart, who died at the age of 35. And actually, this is fitting because I'm making this video because today is the 27th. It's the anniversary of Mozart's birthday. And he was born 1756. 17, and he died on 1791. Yep, that's his birthday. So he's born on the 27th day of the year. You see, just like today. But he died, he died at the age of 35. And you're like, okay, well, usually people, die by the 27 code. They got to be 27 years old. Well, that's not necessarily true. You could be born on the 27th day. You could have a strong 27 connection. You don't necessarily have to be 27. Just like we saw Mac Miller die on a date with 27 numerology. He was 26, but I don't want to go too far off topic. But you see how Mozart is dead on 12/5, like 125. And his date of death has numerology of 125. 12 plus 5 plus 17 plus 91 equals 125. And they made a movie about him titled Amadeus. Amadeus equals 125. And a lot of people speculate he was poisoned. Poisoning equals 125. And for the record, I mentioned John Porter East earlier, who died at the age of 55. His birthday is May 5th, and he died 55 days after his birthday, and he turned 55. They say he died from carbon monoxide poisoning. You see, poisoning equals 125. And, just to layer on how often I've documented that number on this channel, Weird Al Yankovic, who worships the number 27, his parents died of carbon monoxide poisoning. You see? What's crazy is, so, in case you weren't aware, go and research Weird Al Yankovic. He is obsessed. He worships the number 127, and I think I figured it out. It's because he worships Saturn, and that seems to be a very significant number in worship to Saturn or just planets in general. And it could be, because deity equals 27 forwards and backwards. Planets are classically known as deities. Or the planets have had deities assigned to them, but deity is 27 forwards and backwards, and Saturn is known as a deity. But getting back to Weird Al Yankovic, and there's also a website dedicated to how many times he's referenced the number 27, and you'd be blown away how obsessed he is. It's basically his religion. He worships the number 27. So his parents died from carbon monoxide poisoning, which equals 125. And his mom, Mary Yankovic, who was found dead in the home with her husband, Nick Yankovic, her birthday was February 7th, 2/7. And guess where he was at the time when he found out of his parents' passing? He was in Appleton, Wisconsin. Appleton, Wisconsin equals 125. You see? What was Appleton? What's funny is, I've gotten so sidetracked that I haven't even gotten into her death. But you see how, so she died 36 days from her 12th birthday. And poltergeist equals 151, which is the 36 prime number. And I've been talking a lot about this number because there's 360 degrees in a circle, and a ring is a circle. And think about the rings of Saturn, think about the Lord of the Rings. And I've been speculating as to why this number is so special. And I've also been speculating, does Weird Al Yankovic worship Saturn? And the reason why he's so obsessed with the number 27 is because he worships, this evil deity. But look at where he was. He was in Appleton, Wisconsin. And Appleton alone equals 36 forwards and backwards. You see? And that's significant because Saturnian equals 36. You see how it also equals 117, just like Appleton. What is Appleton, Wisconsin? But when I started to decode all these stories, like for instance Weird Al Yankovic's, the death of Weird Al Yankovic's parents, you know, I was kind of dumbfounded. I had no idea what the ritual was all about until I learned about the Saturn symbolism. You know, with the 36, the 117, and the 125. So I was like, wow, holy shit. You know, I saw that 125 and then it all dawned on me. I was like, wow, poisoning equals 125, just like Wisconsin equals 125. The place, you know, that's a significant part of his parents' death is the fact that, you know, he was in Wisconsin to play the show and he decided to play it anyway. And, you know, he said he would make it happy. It's such a bullshit story, but if my parents died, I would, you know, probably cancel the show, you know, out of respect to my parents. But you see the 117. And, you know, I found the significance to that because the black cube of Saturn equals 117. What else? Saturnian, was it Saturnian ritual? No. What was it? I gotta go. Let's see. I'm getting so sidetracked off her death. But I think it was here because Mac Miller's last album, Circles, was released on January 17th, a date that you can write 1/17. That's it. It's the black cube of Saturn equals 117, Saturnian equals 117. And that number popped up a lot in the death of Weird Al's parents. And none of it made sense until I learned about the Saturn symbolism. And everything fit together perfectly. You know, from the 125. Let's see here. Yeah, Weird Al equals 117. His parents died 197 days before his upcoming 45th birthday, and 197 is the 45th prime. And when you write out 45 as a word, it equals 107. Just like his dad died at the age of 86, and when you spell it 86, it equals 117, just like and 145. I mean, it was quite the doozy of a ritual. But yeah, Weird Al 117, Saturnian 117, carbon monoxide poisoning 117, 86 117, the black cube of Saturn 117, their place of death, Fallbrook, California 117. I mean, it's like, man, you know, and I wasn't quite clear about I know about the 45, but what else is significant about the 45 is the magic square of Saturn, which contains 9 squares, and all the numbers of all 9 squares total 45, but each row sums to 15. And we see a lot of Saturn rituals surrounded by the number, centered around the number 15. But the magic square of Saturn. Whoa. Hold on. Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm dog sitting, so I had to check on the little doggy, but you see how the magic square of Saturn equals 333? Just like the black cube of Saturn. Whoops, you gotta spell it right. The black cube of Saturn equals 333. Yep. That's how it goes down. That's how it goes down. But, I gotta I gotta read, make a whole nother video on Weird Al. But I'm gonna finish up with Heather O'Rourke's death. And, because that's what I originally hopped on here to do, but I was reminded that it's the anniversary of Mozart's death. Let's see Mozart's birthday. What's today's date? What? Let's find out how old he would have been if he would have survived. He would have been 266 years. Well, R.I.P. to Mozart. Or should I say happy birthday? Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to bring my screen to full. My bad. So, yeah, getting back to Heather O'Rourke. I thought it was interesting that she died 36 days from her 12th birthday. And Saturnian equals 36. And when you add 1 through 36, you get a total value of 666. The number associated with demonic forces. And isn't it interesting that demonic is 36 forwards and backwards and the most pure? Something to think about, folks. Something to think about. I don't know how it got on all those ciphers. I don't want that. So what I found the most crazy, though, is the fact that I did a little bit of research, watched some videos, and I discovered that, one of the little known facts about Poltergeist 3 was the fact that, they said Carol Ann's name so many times. And they said Carol Ann, and in case you forgot, Heather O'Rourke, or Carol Ann, was played by Heather O'Rourke, one of the main characters in the movie Poltergeist. So they say her name, Carol Ann, is spoken a total of 121 times, and you can look this up. It's a little known fact. And I think the reason why that is it's like a ritual or a spell. And, a big part of spells are spoken word. So they say her name a total of 120 times, and obviously recognize that number. And isn't it funny how, I talked about Drakeo the ruler, whose birthday was 12/1. Definitely a lot of significance to the numbers behind their birthday. I've been discovering. But, if you're new to this work, blood sacrifice equals 121 in English Gematria. And people that have been researching Gematria, they are all too familiar with this term right here in the value of 121. I think another association that's gone largely unnoticed is the fact that Saturnine equals 121. And in case you don't think that term is relevant, I highly recommend you go read the book, the grimoire, and grimoire means a book of spells. So the book is called The Cult of the Black Cube, a Saturnian grimoire, which essentially translates to a book of Saturn spells. This term Saturnine is used quite often within that book, and it's a lot like the term Saturnian. But Saturnine also has value of 121. And she's got the Saturn numbers, which I've been documented. Think about the rings of Saturn. The ring, the circle, the pi. The ruling ring. 360 degrees in a circle or a ring. So, you know, it definitely seems like some kind of sick ritual when you take something like this into consideration, you know? So to conclude, I want to conclude with the oh so popular murder numbers. In Poltergeist 3, the movie that was released posthumously because Heather O'Rourke died during the filming of the movie, Poltergeist 3 is 83 in the most pure cipher. And in case you're new to this kind of work, this number is documented over and over again in suspicious murders. And suspicious murder is another way of saying they were probably killed by this code of letters and numbers. But murder equals 83. But you see how it's 83 and 38 forwards and, forwards and backwards, the reflection of each other. So that's important to this practice, the reversal, the opposites. But murder equals 83, just like the song Murder by Numbers by the Police off the album Synchronicity that was released in 1983. Go and read those lyrics and try to tell me there's nothing suspicious going on. But, death equals 38, the reflection of 83. Killing equals 38. And Heather Michelle O'Rourke, her full name equals 115, just like killing. So Poltergeist 3 has value of 83 in the most pure, just like murder equals 83. But look, Carol Ann, her name in the Poltergeist, 83 and 38, just like murder. And her Heather alone has 38 in the most pure. But what I found, in light of the whole 27 thing, again, there is a 27 connection to her death, and that's the fact that her surname O'Rourke has value of 103, which is the 27th prime number. And, she's born on the 27th day of December, to add another 27. But you see how the 27th, when you spell it out as a word, has almost matching value, in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers. So I thought that was interesting, especially, a lot of people will go, oh my God, the 56, because that number is talked a lot about in this research. 56. But I think most importantly, it's the 151. Because it's the 36 prime number. And also, if this is a Saturn ritual, that would, which it definitely seems like it, the 61 would be really significant because time equals 61, and Saturn is known as the timekeeper. You see how timekeeper equals 211, the 47th prime number? Time alone equals 47. So I'm not even going to go, this video is going to get too long if I go off on a tangent about 47. But I don't want to make this video any longer than it has to be. But yeah, I think I'll end it there. And ask the question, was Heather O'Rourke murdered in a ritualistic fashion? Oh yeah, what else I found interesting is that, how she's born in 75 and 7 plus 5 is 12, just like Heather O'Rourke equals 75. And RIP to Heather O'Rourke. Yeah, let's see what's up with my homie. Shout out to my homie Marvin. All right then, y'all. Have a good night.